Zdravo, my name is Borut Peterlin.
And I'm Valerie Wolfgang.
And welcome to our podcast, Lift Me Up.
Today you are listening to the second podcast, and it's going to be interesting topic. We will talk about it in a second. Thank you all for giving us great feedback. It was nice to listen, to read all the comments. And we will definitely try our best again today.
Yeah.
And this time we will focus on a specific topic. But before we go on the topic, we will do a little intro section into the week ahead of us. Not ahead of us, behind us.
Yeah.
So what happened in the last days?
Well, as you can see in this wide-angle view, we are in our studio where a lot of construction is happening. So this week, I'm doing lots by myself, of course, with my fellow wing woman. So anyway. So this past week, I've learned something about electricity, how to wire electricity, how to make the sockets, how to change three-phase socket into one-phase socket, how to not get electrocuted, and how to use the three-phase electricity to make us more hair grow.
Oh my God, yeah. Please don't get electrocuted. For those of you who are only listening, we are still in the middle of renovation of the studio, but already Borut has workshops. He finished one last week and he's already starting one this week. So it's going to be extremely busy. And I was also in my job, it was everything from artificial intelligence to just everyday complications, but I was doing great, I think. So I think we should now talk about the topic.
Yeah, today's topic is weight loss journey. Of course, featuring our one and only Valerie. She has a lot to say about this thing and a lot of wisdom because she took a path. And her knowledge comes from her first person experience and also founded by books and science, because on the end of the day, she does have a PhD in science.
A lot of you asked for the first topic to be about weight loss, and this is something that people are constantly asking me because I talked already a little bit about my experience, and it was a big thing that influenced me, and also it drastically changed my life. So how to even approach this topic? It's always
with history.
Difficult.
Let's start with history.
Yeah.
Maybe,
before we start to talk about it, I have to say something very important, I think, at least in the weight loss journey connection. We will not talk about either if a big person is, beautiful or not beautiful. It's always mystified if somebody who is overweight looks good or not. I think when I was overweight, I also looked kind of good.
Of course.
So it's not about the looks, it's about the health. And this is what I want to talk about today. Of course, different people like different things. So some people also prefer more big people, I would say. And the word fat, I will use the word fat because it's often used in negative way, but I was fat, so I can talk about it. Being fat is not a bad word. It's a fact. So this was something that was, of course, with me throughout the childhood, and being fat was something that, I knew I was fat, and when people were saying to me that I'm fat, it hurt, but I was not really bullied in my childhood. That's maybe a reason I didn't start paying attention to being fat, that I should lose weight, because I was in the company of many friends.
What you need to know is that, as you can see, I don't know how long you know Valerie, or at least maybe you know it only in this virtual space, but she's very kind, likable, and very she's the best listener. She has an army of her friends that are telling her all her stories, and sometimes I'm saying, oh my God, you have a patience for that. I wouldn't. But anyway, so the point what I'm trying to say is, also as a kid in the school, you were a president of the class. You were always being in front and trying to help other colleagues. So you were best friend of many people, right?
Yeah, maybe interesting thing that happened once I lost the weight was that one of my friend who didn't see me for I think 5 years, she then returned back to Slovenia, and when I lost the weight, we met. And when she saw me, she said, "There's something different about you, but I cannot really say what is the difference." And then I said, "Well, I just lost like 70 kilos. Maybe that's the difference." And she said, "No, you had maybe no, she said 10. You had 10 kilos extra, that's all." And then when I showed her pictures from 5 years ago, she couldn't believe that I was really obese. I was not just fat, I was obese. Let's make it clear. So she was in shock, and she said to me something that still sticks with me, that she never saw me fat. She never really realized that I'm being overweight.
Yeah. Um, the study has been done about which kids are the most popular in school. So they analyzed all the data, how rich you are, how athletic you are, how good you are, how beautiful you are, and so all the criteria, and the most favorable kids, the most popular kids were not the most beautiful, the rich, or the most athletic, but the ones that were taking care of others. So they were always asking, how are you, and listening, and so on. And this is your character is personalized in that. When I listen to that, so I can imagine that the lack of of people who are with you, like seeing you through the lens of let's say social norms, were lacking, because you were listening to them, and you were like playing a different role in their lives, as just co-worker or whatever, like role, you or student or whatever.
Yeah, I always felt like I should give my attention to people, I should listen. And also, yeah, that's why I was saying that I don't want to fat shame anyone, also myself, but like being overweight, it's a real problem. When I was around 24, 25, I started to realize that I have big issue ahead of me. I already started to feel sometimes when I was walking down the stairs or up the stairs, so that was really a big stress for me. I was feeling that I had a lot of pressure, in the veins. I was sweating. I couldn't even ride a bicycle. So I suddenly had a realization that I think I will get a heart attack when I will be 30. So that was a big thing for me. I think also before that, around like 20s or even in my teens, I realized, of course, that I have to change something. But when you're so young, you don't even feel anything. It's like, okay, it is hard to walk, it is hard to do sports. I didn't do any sports, so I always found a way, my smart way out of the like PT, I mean in the training in school. I somehow always knew how to approach the teachers and negotiate that maybe I can just sit and read a book and they are okay with that. And they all agreed with me. It's like, okay, just sit and read.
She was the president of the cast,
So
nonetheless. She pulled her strings.
yeah, it's like it's good how I managed to somehow, navigate myself out of the sport activities, but it was really bad for me. I didn't do any sports. So later on, when I finally confessed to myself, I'm overweight, I am fat, I need to change something. That was the first step to changing my life. So it's like being alcoholic. I still say that, yeah, I am in a way alcoholic, but not with alcohol, but just with food and being overweight. And this is something that never goes away. I think once you are overweight to this stage, like twice my size, it's like a disease.
Yeah.
But you need to confess to yourself that you have a problem.
Yeah. I know, I can imagine now when when we met and when we start living together, actually, I realized that the fat person of you is still inside, is part of your character. You
Yep.
still have certain bad habits, habits that are still there, but you're controlling them with other good habits. So at the end of the day, like I know that like for dinner you eat more than I do, you know, like
Yeah, I
you
love
eat
to eat
more.
before sleep.
But many times you skip, I don't know, some
Breakfast.
breakfast, and you have no snacks and that kind of stuff. And so anyway,
Desserts. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to say back to being alcoholic and overweight. Like being alcoholic and stopping drinking alcohol is extremely difficult. But once you stop, it's like, okay, I will never touch alcohol again. So, or cigarettes, whatever. But with food, you still need food to survive.
food to
It's like
survive.
how to stop eating food and still eat food, you know? That's I think it's one of the toughest addictions. I mean, there's hundreds of extremely tough addictions.
Yeah.
But how to like become sober and still drink, you know,
Alcohol,
in moderation.
You have to still be from the stuff that you're addicted to.
So yeah, that's something that was extremely difficult. And the first step, you know, how I approached it was that it was part of my art project actually. When I was in art residence in Vienna, this was the time when I finally confessed to myself that, of course, I have a problem. I was researching some neural networks. This is part of artificial intelligence, and I was teaching artificial intelligence how to be creative. This was before ChatGPT, and I was like working with computer for 3 months and teaching it how to write poetry. It was called Fluid 2.0. And while I was doing it, I had to limit myself to one specific topic. So, because, you know, how to write poetry, you need first some topic to write about the poems. And I decided, because I started to realize that I will have a heart attack by the age of 30, that maybe I should write a poetry about healthy lifestyle. So I started to search for millions of articles on healthy lifestyle, but just in like science books and science research, not just random information from the web.
No crystals and in the second house and that kind of stuff.
I also started to read everything, but then suddenly, you know, I started to realize what is bullshit and what is real science, you know. And later on, I tested everything, and the results were there. So after that, of course, I managed to do the project. This thing happened, but while I was teaching the machine to write poetry, I was reprogramming myself. So first thing was, the most difficult part was how to find real facts, real science, because, you know, in the age of information, it's just everything out there. It's like how to suddenly in 3 months become skinny, beach booty, whatever.
That's true. So so how did you found you also seek for help, right? You were I mean, of course, like you are very you mentioned books and online, but I guess you also had people who were helping you.
First step was, and I recommend this to everybody, I found online, it's a free program. It's called From Couch to 5K. It means how to come from couch, basically being a couch potato, to run your first 5 kilometers. And the program was called From Couch to 5K in 8 weeks. So my goal was that in 8 weeks I will run my first 5 kilometers. And I just found like nice pants, shirt. It was extremely difficult actually for triple XL to find, you know, it's a big problem to find plus size sport clothes. But then when I found the clothes, I started to run, and my first 10 seconds of running, I couldn't even breathe. It's like, oh my God, I will die. It was choking.
So you mentioned a book from couch to 5K, but I know that you started with actually also with a doctor, right? You went to measure your. This is very important part.
Yeah, it's important part for the next steps of this project. I went, thankfully, to the doctor's checkup before I started this project on myself. But it was just like a general checkup. They weighted me, measured everything. The doctor said, well, I think you should lose some weight. My pressure was over the top. Everything was really messed up. And I just nodded and said, yeah, one day and I couldn't imagine myself being fit. And then, yeah, I started to Google. I found this PDF of from couch to 5K, and it took me 8 months to achieve this goal, which was supposed to happen in 8 weeks. But I just on that day when I standed there and this realization happened that I'm overweight, I then decided this is it. Because in my life, even if I look way back in my childhood, when I find specific targets, I do my best to achieve it.
But you didn't explain why it's important to start with a doctor and officially measuring the weight. Even if your weight is like you don't want to talk to anybody about it, but it's very important that you start with a doctor and officially measuring the weight.
It's interesting that you said that you don't want to mention your weight to anybody. This was like the most top secret information I didn't share even with my parents when I had all that weight. It's something I even when I went to the doctor's place and they said, please step on the scale, I was just like, oh my God, please no, don't make me do that. But I did, and of course when she read the number, I was in shock because I knew already it's a big number, but when she said 135 kilos, I was like, oh my God, I thought it's 100, and it was 135.
Yeah.
It was a shock. And later on, when I lost the weight, it was important number because, at least in Slovenia, the healthcare system gives you free operation of the skin reduction surgery, because after you lose all the weight, this was a new drama that happened after I lost all the weight. It took me 2 years, and I will also talk a little bit how I did that. So after 2 years, I had a lot of skin which was hanging all around my body, and I didn't know what to do with that. It was very painful. I was in some moments actually sorry. I was like, why did I lose all that weight? Now I have even bigger problem, because with walking around with that skin and running, it was really painful. And I said, if this is something I will have to suffer from now on all my life, I think I just want to get fat again back.
Yeah. By the way, just that you know, she took like 2 plastic surgeries to get the excess skin off, and if you would pay by yourself, that would be, I don't know, like
6,000 or more. Yeah.
6 or more thousand, probably more.
More, 8 probably.
Let's say 8,000 euros. But because she measured her weight at the beginning, and then she had like written
official records,
official record that she lost more than 60 kilos, the government paid for her operation.
For those 2 operations. And I didn't even know at the beginning that this is a thing. It was doctor's checkup after these 2 years. I went again because I just wanted to check like my hormones and blood and these things. And then the doctor said, well, after the checkup, she said, what are we going to do with all that skin? And I said, I don't know. I'm constantly putting cream on it. It doesn't go away. I hope someday it will disappear. And she said, well, no, darling. She said, no, this will stay forever, because you see how stretched it is. And I was really sad and like almost in tears. And then she said, well, thankfully, let's check if you have any official record how much weight you lost. And she said, wait a minute, it's more than 60 kilos. We can cover that. And I didn't have a lot of money back then, and it was an angel from heaven. Then, of course, the operation came, and it's a big thing. It's not just an easy thing. It's much more difficult than I expected. You probably know you had skin operation as well. We went basically through the same drama. I mean, yours is maybe even bigger. Maybe one day we talk about that as well. Borut also had plastic surgery. Maybe you can mention 3 of them.
Yeah, my cheeks.
Cheeks also.
No, joke.
What the hell? I'm in shock.
I thought it was a joke. No, as a child, I burned myself with gasoline, almost died. I had 3 3 plastic surgeries. My thighs were peeled off. My the skin were taken from the same places. Actually, your skin was taken and put it here. Like my
He's patched.
there was like 3rd degree burns. So
difficult.
I like that joke now. Say my
God.
cheeks, yeah, and my
No, so
and my
maybe
chin.
Borat is mentioning this ties. We both have here how is it called,
Well,
the
cuts.
yeah, the the scars.
Scars.
We have the same scars,
Yeah,
and
we
that's
have
something.
scars in the same places.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the scars will always remain with me. They are part of me. One time, I have a scar here on my stomach as well. And one time, when I told my plastic surgeon that this is something that I'm really bothered with, he said, "You just say that you were attacked by a shark." Be proud of it.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was attacked by a shark. But yeah, this thing, if some of you go through the same story, if you have excess skin, please go to the surgery, because it's like my life is so much more, more, how to say, it's better.
Easier.
It's easier,
Yeah.
manageable. I mean, the scar is there, but
Yeah.
I hope Borut still likes me.
Of course. The thing is, it's very hard to have all these surgeries and this weight loss. But if you have to pay 8,000 euros on top of that, it's even more difficult.
yeah.
So that's why if you want to lose weight like big time, you have to go to the doctor. Anyway, you go to the doctor anyways.
Yeah, just go to the doctor.
Because
Just don't mess around with your health.
Yeah, health is.
So maybe back to the story, how I lost the weight, because people are asking me what's the secret, what's like the shortcut or whatever. There's two important things. One thing is the movement, the physical, being fit, physical activity. I couldn't run for a couple of months before I started to reach the 5K distance. Yeah, it was a big issue. And how I approached it? By regular walks. Every day I walked for an hour. And I just continued, every day I added some distance, and I just had this 1 hour window for myself. I just put some podcast, I was listening to podcast. And throughout the days, if you go every day, routine, discipline starts to happen. And then suddenly you will be able to run. It's like I lost maybe 10 kilos just with walking. And then after that, I added some short runs through my walk. That's first thing. And then I started to read a lot about nutrition, a lot about food. I realized that basically I'm eating just carbs. They are not bad, but like you need to add some protein, fiber and all that stuff. The easiest thing is to think about when you put stuff on your plate, that half of your plate is protein, quarter is carbs and vegetables.
Yeah. When she said she was reading a couple of books, you have to put this into the context of Valerie. Like if I would say I read a couple of books, that means that I scroll through some phone, right? But if she say she's read a few books, that means that she actually passed a 2-year course for a personal trainer of Olympic Committee of Slovenia.
Okay, yeah,
for which she paid, I don't know, 2,000 or something euros. Like a big money.
Yeah. When I started the journey later on, when I started this 5K project, I saw an ad that, our sport academy is offering this course of 2-year to become personal fitness trainer. And I applied. When I came there, they looked at me really with shock because I was overweight, but I wanted to become personal trainer. But they accepted me. And throughout the course, they also learned something, because we had to do a lot of training with one-on-one. And for example, the teacher, the mentor said, okay, this training will be focused, I don't know, on knees or stepping on one box. And I couldn't even step on a box. And she was like, come on, girl, step on a box. And I'm like, I cannot lift my leg up high because I have my stomach here.
An extra skin.
Yeah. So throughout the course, also the teacher and the others realized that maybe all these weight loss programs are not really appropriate for obese people. It's for fit people. Yeah. So often when I find, even now when I see some courses which are targeted to overweight people, it's not appropriate. So for example, if you have like this big stomach here, you have to make all the movements around it. You cannot just squat down because there's a thing here. But okay, you can do a lot of things at home. There's many YouTube videos as well. So best is to just Google like I guess, overweight training at home, something like that. That's important. And maybe we can stress how important the routine is here.
Yeah.
Even now, me and Borut, we're running every day.
Yeah. By the way,
Morning.
by the way, when she said she started to walk every day, that really means every day.
Yeah.
Is it raining? Is it sunny?
Exactly.
Are you busy? Are you lonely? Are you sad? Are you
Yeah.
happy? Are you, do you have schedule, full schedule? Doesn't matter. Like every single
Yeah.
day, no excuses, right?
Yeah, the most important thing here was that my schedule was extremely busy. Even now it is, but back then I was doing just project work, and I was working every day basically until 10 p.m. without any break. But I dedicated to myself 1 hour per day just for sports. I said, even if I have 10 meetings in the afternoon, 1 hour is just mine, and I had to cancel a lot of things because of that. And I said, this is so important, like brushing your teeth. You have to do it. It's not the most pleasant thing sometimes. And I invested a lot in like clothes, to keep me dry. I was in Germany back then, living for 3 months, and it was just rain constantly and cold. But anyway, I just started to walk. I bought some great Gore-Tex shoes. I was dry in those shoes. And I didn't stop when it was snowing, when it was lightning, I was just doing it. And after 60 days, that's like 2 months, it's also some studies show that after 60 days, every new routine becomes like part of you if you do it every day. So it is 60 days you have to train.
And what is very interesting, what you said is, when you mentioned that you couldn't step on the box, right?
Yeah.
And even then, when you were fit, by the way, okay, wait. First, it's very interesting. She started from couch to 5K, and then I know a year later she ran her first marathon, and then another marathon, and now.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, after I lost 30 kilos, first 30 kilos, I realized I can move better. Actually, without this big stomach, it's easier. And then, of course, once I reached my ideal weight, it was 10 kilos less than I have now. So I was a bit more skinnier, but now I'm just kind of stable at this stage. I suddenly felt like I am bird out of the cage or dog out of the leash. It's like, oh my God, I can just run. It's amazing. And I was not constantly feeling that I would suffocate myself in my own body. And I got a bit like obsessed with that long runs. After my first marathon, the real marathon, 5K marathon, but like 42 kilometers, I did it in Vienna. I said there's no limit. So yeah, I went to 4 official marathons then after Vienna, and then one a bit longer run from Vienna to Bled, 62 kilometers.
That's like a marathon and a half.
Marathon and a half marathon, yeah. So that was interesting experience. Like once I reached the marathon length, it's like, oh my God, I still have the half marathon ahead of me. So psychologically it was a bit difficult, but once I did that, I said to myself, I have to stop because this was something that was too much influencing then my personal life. I was just doing sports. I just stopped my career there for a second. So the most difficult part in the last years was actually how to keep this extreme routine in a way, and then also to balance everyday life, because I was also counting calories. I recommend that if you start your weight loss journey, put My Fitness Pal is called the app. It's free app, but you can also pay it and then have some extra features, but free app, free things, okay? In My Fitness Pal, you just put whatever you eat throughout the day. You can also take a picture and the app will automatically tell you how much calories approximately is in that food. And it will give you overview how much you eat per day. And then also, according to your weight, it will recommend you how much you should eat. So I was doing that for a year constantly. No, 2 years. Every day, anything. Even if I just put a squeeze of lemon in water, I put that in the application. So I had exactly the number of calories and then how much I spent, And I was constantly in deficit. It means I was not eating enough according to what I was spending. And then I reached the limit of how much my body can still manage via process. And I didn't know how to start living normally without constantly putting things in that app. and then, do everyday life. And thankfully, in a way, I then entered the military. I had this basic military training, and there was no time for me to put stuff. I didn't even have mobile with me. I just had to eat everything I could reach. I was constantly grabbing stuff around and just smashing them in my mouth because we were pushed to the limits. And in the military, when you have this basic military training, there's no food is enough. You just have to eat everything you can. Even in my pockets, I had a pocket everywhere. I know what. And it was extreme opposite of what I was doing before. So, yeah.
You know, guys, when you're listening to this, it sounds like, oh, she was like 135, then she lost 70 kilos. She started from couch to 5K and then to marathon and marathon and a half. It sounds like a, movie story, right? But I also know about your backstory. When you were first running a marathon in Vienna, you went alone with the train. You run the whole marathon alone. Then you sit on the train and come back. So basically, very, very lonely, no glamour, no fanfaras, no winning, nothing, just like. So how did that feel? How does that feel, when there is no, because most of the time, in spite of support, whatever support you get, most of the time you're alone with yourself and you're trying to push through. And how does that feel? And what did help you to go through that?
The most difficult part is that at the end of the day, you go to bed and you're with yourself, with your own thoughts, and these thoughts are like the devils. It's like, start drinking alcohol again, start eating again and all that. Just sleep tomorrow, just sleep. Don't even step out of bed. This is still something I'm having many times in my thoughts. But I always remember that day when I decided that I would change something about myself, and it's basically the question of life and death. It's the realization that if I don't do that, I will die. And this is something I still tell myself that I have to do that. It's like being fair to yourself, or even put yourself first. It sounds very say egocentric, but here is actually a question of life and death, because I was suffocating myself with all that weight. I know if it would just continue like that, my weight was going up, so I think I would reach like 160, and then I don't know. There's some shows on, I don't know which television, showing people, that just laying in bed, that they cannot even go out of bed. And I saw sometimes those shows, and I saw myself in those people. So it's like, I feel really sorry for them. I know they cannot help themselves because I was on that journey, and it is extremely difficult.
Yeah. What did it help you
What helped me,
to go through those fields of my fields of my fields of might and loneliness and it's the temptation.
Yeah, so maybe the first change was that I looked myself in the mirror, and I remember once I lost a bit of weight at the beginning when I was still quite obese. My stomach was suddenly, it was always kind of in front of me, but then suddenly it set it down. It went lower to my thighs, but it was possible to move it around a little. It was kind of funny. So I moved this stomach a little bit on the side, and I saw that there is something in the bottom of all that fat. And then I started to imagine myself being without it. And once I started to imagine myself how it would be without all that extra luggage, then I saw like a tiny light at the end of that dark tunnel. And I started to believe. I think it's important that you believe that you can change something. And I started to listen to a lot of podcasts, actually. There's some Slovenian podcasts and also like international ones who helped me a lot. People share the stories of themselves. And I preferred those stories who were really, in a way, like I spent 2 years to do that, not like 3 weeks, I don't believe stories who are like 3 weeks and you're fit. I mean, maybe it's possible with operation or some like medicine. It's also a thing, but in the long term, now it's like 7 or 10 years, I don't even know, that I keep this weight. Yeah, that's important because I have some friends who lost weight really rapidly with some help of, I got an operation, whatever. It's okay, but after 2, 3 years, their weight came back.
Yeah, that's a very important topic that you just mentioned. Is basically well, two of them. One, I would stress out that now that she's talking about this weight loss, and it sounds easy, sounds like a movie, like a winning, like going like like a Rocky running up the staircase and stuff. But basically, it's a very lonely job, very difficult job, and just like you have to prepare about that. It's no fanfaras and no flags, and basically most of the time you're alone. It's very difficult, and you have to have this strong vision and dedication.
Yeah, and you have to be prepared that also people around you will judge you. It was interesting how my friends and also family judged me because I started to really focus on myself and run, eat healthier, and do all that stuff. And many of them were mocking me, like friends and family. Of course, not everybody, but I was a bit disappointed how the environment, started to perceive me. It's like before when I was overweight, fat, or whatever, nobody really mocked me. But once I started to say, like, we had dinner with some company or family, whatever, and then I said, I will skip the dessert, and everybody's like, come on, it's just one piece of cake. And I was like, come on, how do you don't understand? I really struggle when I watch the cake, like I'm drooling and I'm saying no to it. Please, I don't you see, I have a problem. It's like alcoholic, like you shouldn't offer alcohol to somebody who has trouble.
Yeah. And yeah, because when you present yourself as a strong and dedicated person, lots of people don't have this and don't know this strength that's coming from inside, and they're actually, when I don't drink alcohol, or when I really didn't drink alcohol or smoke or anything, and I was together with my friends, partying and everything, I was the bad guilt. Like I was like, if everybody's getting drunk, who is counting the liters? Nobody. But if there is only one person sober, it's kind of, I hate this guy, because why? Because,
Gives you bad.
yeah, it's like, it gives like a bad, you could do it, you could be without, but, and,
Yeah, it's the same with like eating the cake or not eating the cake. Yeah, once you have the dinner. And also, maybe the change happened in me because I was giving some excuses at the beginning, like, oh, I'm not hungry, whatever. But then I just said, no, I'm just losing the weight. I don't want cake. So, and I was proud of that. And still, I don't have a problem saying no. I mean, I know some people sometimes are maybe a bit offended because, of course, they prepared everything. But it's like, I have to choose again. Do I go on the same road, or do I keep, this focus that I just want to be fit? Because being fit is something I really like. I really like going around with you, doing all those activities. Our days are full because we have energy, both of you,
yeah.
you and me. And like, I cannot even imagine the same lifestyle I had before. I also, unfortunately, had to change a lot of friends. I didn't want to, but like, once I started to go hiking in the mountains, and some of the friends from before, they just want to hang in the bar. And I said, well, it's sunny out there, right? I will go hiking. I cannot go with you to the bar. So slowly, our friendships faded. But like, first you need to take care of yourself so you can take care of others.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. Sometimes, it just takes, when you change, also the environment change. When the environment change, you change. But I want to ask you something. Okay, your case is very extreme. It sounds like, losing half of your weight, and you were obese, and you were on the edge, on the verge of alive or not being alive. But what do you even say about people who are 10 kilos overweight, maybe 15, maybe 18, and then the next year, maybe 20, so it's going, and then they lose 5 kilos, and then they do win 7 kilos more, and so on, What are you gonna, certainly know this kind of, I don't know, was that happening to you too, or you were, when you decided, when
I am actually this person now because when I was 4 years ago in the US and I was training with like Marines and that stuff in military, uh,
When she said training, she was commanding, She was in the elite academy, that much higher than West Point. Okay? It's not a secret. She cannot say it. I can.
so when I was in the US, because it was extremely stressful environment, I was overeating a lot again. Every night when I was alone in a room, because I was the only woman and I had my own room, I was hoarding a lot of food and just overeating a lot. And I gained 6 kilos in that period, in 6 months. But I was constantly having the battles again, and I was just, I during the day we were running around, and then in the evening I went to the gym every day just because I knew that I was eating too much. Even on the field I was eating a lot, and in the room I was by myself. I was in a military base. I didn't even have a chance to go anywhere. I was just there stuck in that room. So I gained quite a lot to that point when I came back to Slovenia. My uniform was too tight for me. So I knew that I have a problem. I have to lose weight that I could fit back in my Slovenian uniform. And it was really difficult to lose those 6 kilos. It's like I still fluctuate because, women, when we have period, we go up for 3 kilos always. And then now it's normal. But 6 kilos, that's a difference. It's not like a kilo and two. It's one size bigger, actually. And it was much more difficult than losing 20 or 30 kilos because once you're extremely overweight, even a little small change will be a big impact on the kilos. So, for example, I was completely sedentary back then. It means I was not moving. I was on the chair and then on the couch in front of computer, TV, whatever, and I was not even moving. But then I started walking. This is huge change for somebody who's sedentary. But if you're running every day, if you're in gym every day, and how are you going to fight those 6 kilos because you're doing your best? The only thing is then the food. It's the only thing you can change. And by food, at least in my case, I mean that you have to, if you want, you can Google volume eating. It's a noun, it's a thing. Volume eating means that you study food and you know that this big plate can have much less calories than a tiny snack. And this is something I'm teaching Buddha.
This is something that she's teaching me. I mean, I couldn't believe this. I'm eating healthy. I mean, look, I'm eating nuts. They're like cashew with cranberries. Very healthy and stuff.
Like I wouldn't even touch that.
Yeah.
It's much
I
calorie packed than a burger for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's healthier than nuts, but calorie wise.
Calorie wise, yeah. Because I must tell you a secret about my weight. The truth is, I mean, I'm very stable in my weight.
He has this shirt at least for 10 years.
I'm 178 centimeters, and my kilograms are always around 80. I mean, always. Today, I reached my maximum. When she started to cook and do this, I said, okay, great. I'm going to lose 4 or 5 kilos, which is above my ideal weight. But no, in spite that I'm running every day, and we are going to fitness gym every, couple of days. Yeah, and if I go to gym, I'm not like kids, we're on the phone all the time. We really work, we really work hard, we sweat, and today I got like 85 kilos, that's the maximum I ever had,
But one important factor that his hip ratio and waist is the same or even smaller because people don't realize that muscle weight is a bit heavier than fat. Fat is lighter. So, for example, many people also, when they see me, also in military, they say, I don't know, I have 60 kilos or something, but I have actually 72 kilos. But I look skinnier because I have a lot of muscle and muscle weight is heavier than fat. So, also when I was in my weight loss journey, once I reached fit level, I don't even remember how much I weighted, but suddenly the scale was showing much more, a lot more kilos, and my hip was getting smaller. Also, my thighs were smaller, and I couldn't believe what's happening. Like, I'm not even eating anything, and I'm just getting fatter. What's happening? And then, of course, I started to learn again. I started to read books again on that topic. And yeah, the scale should not be the only measure in being fit. I think that's why, to certain amount, it helps that you weigh yourself every day or maybe once a week. But then we should use just the meter to measure.
Let me share an anecdote. I had like my regular checkup, medical checkup, and she said, "Can I go with you?" I said, I'm driving. I just moved. So my doctor is like 1 hour drive. I said, well, do you want to drive there and back? Like it's 2 hours. Yeah, I want to join. I said, well, sure. We could go, it's fun. We were traveling, we were waiting and said, okay, the boat, come in, I said, I want to come in. I said, oh, I look at the nurse and said, is it okay if she goes in? like my mom. And she said, yeah, if you don't mind, I don't mind, if you went in. And and in the middle of the checkout, everything was fine, like my results are, well, she also measured my belt and, and my scale and everything was fine. She said, that's okay, I said, and then I realized, oh my God, she went inside because she maybe is thinking that I will not tell her truth, and then I realized, I said, nurse, you better measure well, because if somebody will, I call it, call for a guarantee.
Warranty.
Yeah, if somebody will call for a warranty, it will be her, but not me, because I am her candidate for reproduction.
No, Boris, it was about lifting you up.
Yeah, lifting me up. Yeah, that's right. But it's true, like I do have 85 kilos, the maximum I ever had, and but I also have much more muscles than I usually have. Also,
yeah, it's important.
I also I'm running every day, and I feel that my knees are not taking a toll because of my muscles. So it's different. This is different.
Yeah, especially after 50, all the studies show that after 50, especially the weight training is extremely important. You should put weight on you and you can do squats or maybe do push-ups, everything, not just walk around and run. It's one of the most important things.
After 50, why you eat meat? I'm 51, basically. But listen to this, when we were in the gym and we were doing this, pushing the legs, leg day was leg extension. I said, okay, let's put 135 kilos as much as you were, on the max. I said, oh my God, that's so difficult. And then there was one guy that he was also very overweight. And I said, I don't know him. We saw him once. Yeah. I said, do you want to hear an encouraging story? And I said, yes, please. I said, well, she was like 135. Now she's like half that much, so keep on working. You're doing great. And
it's important to support each other at weight culture.
And we also tell him, go and measure, go to the doctor, measure your weight officially, because that might cost, that might save you like 10,000 euros with a surgery if you better be.
Yeah, but maybe here again, I want to just stress how important this routine is, and that's why it's so important, and this for me. I'm so thankful the board is going with me to the gym, because partner support is so important. If you have a partner which doesn't support you, please tell them that it's something that it will help you. I'm sure they will understand eventually, because otherwise I cannot imagine.
So the circle that supports you is really important. Eventually, some circles of friends might fade out. You're a great friend. You're friends with the runners now.
Yeah. Also that, I mentioned I lost many friends, but I gained so many more amazing people. Like when I started to join different running clubs, running communities, by going in every city, every bigger city, there's a running community. You can just search it online. And at least when I was single, for example, I didn't have anybody to run with. And then I just Googled like running club, Riviana. I was living in Riviana back then. and there was plenty of running groups, and I just joined a couple of them, and I was running 2 or 3 times per week with some different groups, and we are still friends with many of them. We support each other. Also on Facebook, it's like, oh, good job, you're doing this, And throughout my weight loss journey, and even later on, this was extremely important for motivation.
One more really important topic we need to cover before you go. What's the name of this drug that's used for losing weight fast? Insulin.
Yeah, that's my name, but the most famous one is Ozempic,
Yeah.
or Wegovy, or Rybelsus. There's a couple of.
So how do you try that?
I actually did. I tried it, but later when I lost the weight, I didn't feel any difference actually, but it influenced a lot my digestion. It's like diarrhea, which is something that happens a lot. But I realized that, yeah, for me it's nothing like really important, but it's like it's a bit too much of a shortcut, I would say. I am not against it actually. I think maybe if I go back to my journey, it would be easier for me. I just think if I would start with those drugs, I don't know if I would be able to stop it. It's like you can just use it and then be healthy with it, but you don't learn to limit yourself. You have to work on your mindset.
Plus, those drugs are scientifically proven that they take a toll
Yeah, exactly.
everything on your will, on your you lose the passion for eating, but you lose the passion on general.
Yeah.
Like there are cases that Liebitofeld, the relation couples separated because there was no more. There were no more like love, and it was like no more emotion in between. So,
yeah, of course, all the drugs have side effects, and I would suggest that everybody tries naturally. I know it's difficult, but once you overcome this initial stress, it becomes part of you. It changes you.
you become a better person.
Yeah, and it's possible to reprogram everything. I mean, actually, if you wake up tomorrow, everything can be completely different. You can also become alcoholic overnight. That's also possible. Or you can just become a healthy person. You have to decide on your own and confess to yourself. So first step is to confess to yourself. You don't need to tell to anybody else. It's like, okay, I'm overweight. And then breathe, and you're like, okay, that's a fact. I don't need to now make drama about it. It's the way I am. Let's just do something that changes me. So that's the most difficult part, is to be with yourself. Also, as I mentioned, at the end of the day, when you go to bed, you're basically, even if you are married, whatever, if you have a family, when you close your eyes, you're with yourself. It's difficult if you don't, accept yourself. And once you accept yourself, it's also easier to ask for help. In my case, I later on, that's maybe something to mention. I didn't even have a courage to go to the gym. So I was not like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to lose the weight. Let's go to the gym. I was like, oh my God, no, in the gym, there's only fit people. I don't want to step in. Everybody will laugh at me and stuff like that. So first I tried at home. But later I said, okay, maybe I should go to the gym. It's going to be easier. And I sadly got the courage to go. And once I stepped in, I realized nobody even cares if I'm there or not. Nobody pays attention. Everybody's just focusing on themselves. That was first realization. So if you go to the gym and you are overweight, nobody will care. Or maybe they will even be proud and supportive, like Moritz mentioned. That's the first thing. And the second thing is get a personal trainer. That's something I was not really paying attention to. I was just trying my best to somehow work on those machines, and I was overwhelmed. It's like, oh my God, what should I press? I don't know what to do. And then I invested a bit of money into personal trainer. I had her for, 10 weeks or maybe even more, almost every day. She was amazing. She encouraged me a lot. She showed me how to even structure your own routine, how to approach gym, what's the philosophy behind it. And she also mentioned a couple of things which are not really important for me. Like she said, you don't have to do this. This is for men, or you can do this. Or if you don't want to do anything, just be playful. And it was important.
I want to say something that her weight loss and her experience made her it's her superpower. And her superpower, why? Because she's working in the military. She went through trainings and through really tough times. And in the military, they test you to the limits, and they see where the person will break. And but how can you break somebody who lost 70 kilos? Who's you cannot. So that's why her tests came back with high marks every time.
I already broke myself. No, but like really, yeah, it is a superpower. It's the most difficult part to not to eat if you are hungry. It's also a torture device actually used for torturing, how you can torture somebody, but you have to torture yourself. If you're overweight, you will have to suffer a little bit. Before the change happens, everything goes down. You're like really, you're tired, you are fatigued, you are in pain constantly. Even now when we are training today, I feel a bit of like pain in my shoulders. Yesterday we were in the gym, but now I know that pain is not bad. Pain means that body is changing, it's growing. I accept the pain, and it's good to somehow feel this pain.
And I also heard, and please check that with your doctor, that Ozempic kills your passion for eating, but it kills your passion for life, including libido, including being a partner, and being, having a
Sexual tension.
you have like a passion for life and everything. So you do your homework, but we have to mention that.
Yeah, all the drugs have some side effects. Some don't. Some people have those effects, some maybe not. But like, it's probably easier, at least in a long-term scale, to just become, like reprogram your brain. It's possible. You don't need any extra people to hire, to help you with some crystals or whatever. It's proven. I did it by myself. You just have to push yourself through it. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it, and it's you.
Yeah. By the way, this weight loss story gave her superpower. Not because of because of everything that became healthy and inspired a lot of people, but actually she works in army, and because of her nature of her job, she had been tested so many times. Basically, what army does is actually push a person to the limit of a breaking point and just see who would break. And there no biceps, they don't help you there.
Yeah, exactly.
And but but how can you torture? But for me and you, it's basically a torture, right? But how can you break a person who lost 70 kilos on her own? It's impossible. That's why all her tests came up with the highest mark. And I know that, you know that, her colleagues know that. And
Yes.
so just think about losing your weight as a chance for your superpower.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's definitely a mindset you have to change. It's like working on your brain. It's a mental challenge. It's definitely something that I know it's difficult. I was there. It's possible. And all the stories I read online, before, after on these pictures, I always thought it's just like fake, maybe these are two different people. But I also have my own pictures from the past. I cannot even recognize myself sometimes. And it was also difficult once I lost the weight, seeing myself in the mirror. I still sometimes look at myself in the mirror and I'm just wondering, is this the way I'm supposed to be? Is this me? Because sometimes when I wake up really tired, I still see myself really obese in my own mind. It's kind of weird feeling.
That was most of your life, you were obese.
Also, when I sit in a bus or in a plane, I always think I take much more space and I try to squeeze myself in a corner or something. And it's a thing I'm still living with.
Yeah. It's funny when a part of her military training was I want to jump somewhere. And she said, "No, I cannot jump." Come on, like you can jump. And then she was, "Oh yeah, of course, I am not like."
I still sometimes limit myself because of it. I have my own inner demons, I would say. You know, once I see staircase, even now, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can manage. It's like 10 stairs, but I can run a marathon, basically. It's a weird feeling. So I know how difficult it is, whoever is listening, and if you're on the other side and you have some kilos extra, if you want to get rid of them, you are capable. But if you are happy the way you are, just be the way you are. I don't want to judge anybody. Please don't hear me now saying like being fat is, I don't know, wrong or it's not normal. It's just the way you want to decide. If you decided one day, that's it, I want to be fit, that's perfect. If you don't want to be fit, own it. It's good.
Yeah, that's very important. Own your.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you decide, but just if you want to find a way, there is a way.
Do you think you feel okay to conclude this?
Yeah, maybe we should mention that we will.
No. I want to mention one thing. For people who, because you said that if people are thinking about losing weight, let me share a Chinese proverb. To plant a tree, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Yeah. So, and to conclude this, we were talking about losing weight, and now we're gonna announce.
Yeah, there's gonna be some interesting things in the next week. Today is Sunday, we are free, but tomorrow already on Slovenian television, something interesting will happen.
Planet TV host TV show Come and Dine with Me, in Slovenian versions Ribara Carak, and I am a guest for Thursday 21st. We are cooking.
We are cooking together and we're going to cook something interesting. We will not share what.
Very interesting and something that you probably never have eaten.
Yeah, we will talk about it in our next episode, and we will also tell you what will happen in the next week. And we're going to touch one interesting topic in the next week, in the next episode, about being a photographer and living as an artist.
Yeah, but your homework is lift you up, lift other people up, and enjoy your life.
Bye.
Bye. Yes, second episode. I could do it.